It kind of happened on its own in a way. I just knew I wanted to draw, basically. First it was comic books, and I was really into comic books, but sequential art just seemed like a pain in the butt. So I kind of got more into like the splash image, like making the big, awesome poster art and things like that. And around that time, the late 90s, there was like a big, sort of like a renaissance of like gig poster art and stuff like that. And I really got attracted to that. So I sort of like, that was my main focus. Kind of always wanted to work with bands and promote shows and make album art and things like that. And then that slowly turned into graphic design, because if you're making posters and you're doing like cover art and splash art, you know, you're gonna work with typography a little bit. I learned some calligraphy, things like that. So it all kind of like evolved on its own. And somehow I stumbled into the world of graphic design. Yeah, I guess I go through phases in a way. For a while, I was very like, I just want to like stuff everything. I guess when I was younger, I want to stuff everything with as much detail as I possibly could. Like a lot of shadows, a lot of lines, a lot of action, stuff like that. And then, you know, as I matured a little bit more as an illustrator, I started noticing that, you know, you can communicate a lot more with sort of like, I guess, economy of lines, just using less lines. So then I got more into sort of like the expression, you know, the energy of a line instead of like too much detail and stuff like that. So I like using the least amount of lines I can to kind of like convey an image or communicate something. I like trippy stuff, like anything that's trippy basically. I'm like into the whole sort of, I like nebulas, I like these like mystic creatures sort of coming out of the nebula and that kind of thing. Yeah, so, and I'm like into creatures and into Darth Vader. So my big thing about art is like, I realized at a young age that, hey, I could do this, you know, I can draw and I guess I get some attention out of it, you know. I wasn't too good with words as a kid. I'm barely making it now as an adult. But I saw that by drawing and by making cool images, you know, I was able to kind of express myself. So it's basically that. I guess that's what it boils down to, expression. And what I would tell other people, because another thing about me is that I really didn't go to school. This is all self-taught. Wow. This is all just me, just wanting to do it. And like basically clawing my way through the whole thing, and you know, long nights, staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to figure out a program or an application. So I do it on my own. So what I would tell other people that are trying to do this is like, that's a way to do it. It's probably like a longer way to do it, you know. But it's not like before where you had to go to school or you had to, you know, be in a class with a lot of people and stuff like that. You could actually learn anything you need through YouTube. You know, if you want to figure something out, like how to work your Wacom tablet, or how to do something on Photoshop, or how to do something on Illustrator, YouTube. The #1 rule of graphic design or art is, as cliche as it sounds, be yourself. You know, communicate what you feel is cool. Basically, if there's something already established that's cool, get inspired by it, 100%. Get inspired by it, want to make something, but don't mimic, you know? Don't imitate. Basically, get inspired and use that inspiration, use that fuel to make your own thing, to, you know, make your own voice. I guess don't stop. A lot of people get discouraged because they think, I don't draw well enough, or I'm not that creative, or you know, I'm just too old or something like that. It could be anything that you can turn into an obstacle. So just remember that the obstacles that are in front of you are something that you turn into obstacles. Turn those obstacles into opportunities in a way. And if you feel that you're not creative enough, if you feel that, you know, you don't have enough of a following or whatever, don't let that stop you. Keep making it, because if you believe in yourself, eventually other people are gonna be believing you too.
Studio.